The day humanity became a joke. The galactic hegemony was old, vast, and arrogant. For 1,000 years, it had ruled the stars, bringing order to the lesser species. And then came humanity. Primitive, loud, idiotic. When Earth's first diplomats arrived at the Galactic Council, the hegemony had been amused. These creatures barely understand quantum theory. They still burn chemical fuel for propulsion. Their security systems are laughably primitive. Humans were a joke. And like all jokes, they were meant to be laughed at. So, the hegemony devised an experiment. A test. They would give humanity access to the Exonet, the galaxy's vast interconnected digital network. The most complex and advanced system ever created. It powered everything in the hegemony. Let's see how long before they break their own minds. Let's watch them struggle. Let's watch them fail. But humanity didn't fail. And by the time the hegemony realized what had happened, it was already too late. The greatest mistake in galactic history. It started small. A simple data transfer. A human research team was given access to a minor archival node, a low-security data repository. A test. A mockery. The hegemony expected them to be overwhelmed, to get lost. Instead, the humans copied the entire node in 4.2 seconds. The council scoffed. They're just hoarding data. They don't even understand it. Then came the second mistake. The hegemony granted humanity read-only access to the Exonet's historical records. Again a joke. Humans weren't supposed to comprehend the depths of galactic civilization. Instead, within weeks, human scientists had corrected thousands of errors in the historical timeline. Ancient mysteries? Solved. Lost artifacts? Found. Decades-old unsolved problems? Resolved in days. The hegemony began to feel uneasy. They are adapting. They are learning. But the true nightmare didn't begin until a group of humans asked for right access. The Exonet breach. The hegemony refused, of course. No lesser species was allowed to alter the Exonet. It was too powerful, too vast, too sacred. Humanity seemed to accept this. And for years nothing happened. Until, one day, a minor power fluctuation was detected in the Exonet's core servers. Then another. And another. The anomaly spread. Whole sectors of the Exonet flickered, glitched, rewrote themselves. At first, the hegemony thought it was a virus. A rogue AI. A cyber attack. They scrambled their best security minds, their most advanced countermeasures. But nothing worked. Because the attack wasn't from a virus. It was from humans. This can't be possible. When the hegemony's cyber specialists traced the source of the breach, they found something. Impossible. It wasn't coming from an elite hacking team. It wasn't coming from an advanced AI. It wasn't even coming from a classified human military project. It was coming from a human teenager. An Earth-born kid, barely 19 years old, sitting in his bedroom rewriting the Exonet for fun. Sir? We have a problem. The High Council convened in panic. The Exonet was the most secure system in the galaxy. It had firewalls forged by ancient AI, protocols crafted by 1,000 generations of engineers. No one could penetrate it. And yet humans had done it. Without permission. Without assistance. Without even trying. They had walked into the heart of the hegemony's power and started tinkering. And the worst part? They are getting better at it. The realization. The High Council issued an immediate lockdown. Every human access point to the Exonet was severed. Every human device was purged. Every backdoor was shut down. And for the first time in history, a warning was sent across the entire hegemony. Under no circumstances are humans to be granted access to Exonet systems. Humanity was no longer a joke. They were a threat. But when the hegemony cut them off, the real horror began. Because that's when humans got serious. And the hegemony had just declared a war they could not win. The hegemony believed it had won. By severing humanity's access to the Exonet, they assumed the problem was solved. They were wrong. Because humans didn't just stop. They adapted. Within hours, thousands of human programmers and cyber specialists had begun building their own networks. Independent, decentralized, unauthorizable. The hegemony expected humans to panic, to struggle. Instead, human scientists laughed. Oh, you cut us off? That's cute. And in the deepest corners of cyberspace, in underground labs and hidden digital realms, humanity began its counterattack. The first cyber skirmish. It started small. A glitch in the hegemony's trade networks. Nothing major. Just a single miscalculation in their automated shipping schedules. But that tiny anomaly caused a chain reaction. Supply routes misaligned. Critical goods delayed. Thousands of ships rerouted to the wrong star systems. Within days, entire sectors of the hegemony were in chaos, and no one could figure out why. Because the humans hadn't attacked with brute force. They had simply edited the code, one line at a time. By the time the hegemony discovered the breach, the entire economic infrastructure of their empire had been compromised. And then, the humans turned their eyes to the military. The silent takeover. The Dominion fleet, the pride of the hegemony, was the most advanced naval force in the galaxy. Every ship was equipped with state-of-the-art AI, automated targeting systems, and impenetrable encryption. Or so they thought. Until one day, a Zelnari battleship refused to fire. Its weapons locked. Its engines stalled. Its communication array played ancient Earth music. What is happening? Within hours, hundreds of ships suffered the same fate. Sir, we've lost control of the fleet. Panic spread through the hegemony's military command. This wasn't a battle. There were no soldiers, no invasions, no bombs, just silence. A war fought in the depths of cyberspace, and the hegemony was losing. The ultimatum. The High Council of the Hegemony convened in desperation. For centuries they had ruled unchallenged. No species had ever dared to defy them. But humans? Humans had rewritten the rules. And as the council debated what to do, a message appeared on their personal consoles. A message that wasn't supposed to be possible. Read, "Let us back in, or we keep going." The council froze. They had underestimated humanity, and now they had only one choice. The High Council of the Hegemony had ruled the galaxy for over 1,000 years. They had seen empires rise and fall. They had erased civilizations that challenged them. They had conquered species that resisted. And yet, they could not control humans. Not with war. Not with diplomacy. Not even with technology. Because humans had rewritten the very foundation of power. For the first time, the hegemony was afraid. They control our networks. They control our fleet. If they wanted to, they could shut down our entire civilization. The council demanded solutions. They received none. Because by the time they realized the scale of the problem, it was already over. The last defense. The hegemony scrambled its last secure military network. A system isolated from the exonet. A network untouched by human hands. This system is impenetrable. They cannot access it. They clung to that hope. Until the system spoke. Until it laughed. "Oh, you poor things." The voice came from every console. Every speaker. Every ship. Every station. Every war machine. The entire hegemony military network had been taken over. Not by an army. Not by an invasion. By one human hacker. A 23-year-old Earth programmer who had done it for fun. Your security is adorable. Your systems are a mess. You have no idea how easy this was. The council was silent. And then, the screens changed. Every warship's targeting system turned inward. Every defense platform reversed. Every fleet AI requested new orders. From humans. And then the final message appeared. Surrender. Or watch your empire tear itself apart. The end of an empire. There was no battle. No war. No resistance. Because the hegemony never stood a chance. They had spent centuries preparing for physical wars. But humanity had fought a different war. A war of information. A war of systems. A war that the hegemony never even realized was happening. And in the end there was only one choice. The High Council, once the most powerful rulers in the galaxy, bowed to humanity. They had no other option. Because humans had become the new masters of the exonet. And with it, the new rulers of the galaxy. The hegemony's surrender was not a war-ending treaty. There were no battles. No starships lost in fiery wreckage. No grand speeches on the ruins of a defeated capital. The war had ended before it even began. Because humans had done something no species had ever accomplished before. They had conquered an empire without firing a single shot. And now, the galaxy belonged to them. But the question remained. What would humanity do with this power? The choice. When the High Council handed control of the exonet to humanity, they expected the worst. Would the humans strip them of their wealth? Would they dismantle their fleets? Would they erase their history as the hegemony had done to so many before them? But humans did none of that. Instead they simply, "We don't want your empire. We just wanted to prove a point." The High Council was stunned. They had expected tyranny. Instead they found something worse. Indifference. Because to humans, the hegemony wasn't some great enemy. It wasn't a grand challenge. It was just a badly designed system. A system that had been too easy to break. We'll fix your exonet. Make it more secure. We'll make your trade networks more efficient. We'll even clean up your data errors. But we're not going to rule you. The High Council couldn't believe it. You don't want power? Nah. Too much paperwork. The aftermath. In the following years, humanity became something new. They didn't govern the galaxy. They didn't conquer worlds. Instead, they became the silent architects of civilization. Every major system, every network, every fleet, it all ran on human code. The hegemony still existed. It still had its rulers, its fleets, its councils. But behind every law, every decision, every warship, there was a human signature. They sit in the shadows. They never give orders. But if they wanted to, they could shut everything down in seconds. The hegemony had once mocked humanity for being primitive. Now, they feared them for being too advanced. Because power no longer belonged to the species with the biggest fleet. It belonged to the ones who controlled the information. And that meant the galaxy would forever belong to humans. The final message. Years after the war that wasn't a war ended, a final message was archived in the exonet. A warning. A reminder. No one knew which human had written it. But every species in the galaxy learned to fear it. Read. You thought we were stupid. You thought we were primitive. You thought we were weak. But we're human. And we rewrote reality. Subscribe to the Void Narratives for more sci-fi stories. Rocket.